Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay, good. So far, great presentations. Thank you both. I'm Jordana Gaumond. I'm a general surgeon at Providence, Portland, and I'm going to talk about value-oriented architecture. Next slide. So what is value-oriented architecture? It's a process that we're able to analyze the cost of care in the acute setting with respect to the outcomes. And that way we can see what value we get for our treatment. So we don't have extraordinary cost with poor outcomes, or we have reasonable cost with good outcomes, and we know that we're putting our resources where they're best needed and utilized. We started this by looking at a single procedure, the laparoscopic cholecystectomy. And in the end, to cut to the end, we created a custom pack, and I'll describe what that is, which we feel like we're getting the best value and good outcomes with it. Next slide. So this slide looks at, it's a value plot, and it looks at the cost of care per case and the outcomes. The cost of care decreases as you go up, and the outcome is length of stay, which decreases as you move to the right. And if you look, most of the hospitals in the Oregon region are in the upper right-hand corner, which is where you want to be. Low cost, low length of stay being good outcomes, that's a good value. I know this because my institution is the one in the opposite corner in the lower left with a higher cost and a higher length of stay. So Providence initially got me involved to say, hey, why is this one institution an outlier, and can we learn something from this to get better value and increase the resources that we can bring to our patients? Next slide. As we started looking into this, we looked at a lot of different things. We looked at individual surgeons' technique. We looked at supply costs. We looked at how the procedure is set up and performed. And this slide actually shows supply costs, but it looks remarkably like the last slide, which really goes to show how supply costs are really a huge factor in the cost of care. Go ahead, next slide. So in this slide, when you look at the how the surgery was performed, we realized that how the procedure is set up and performed within the facility is a huge factor to the efficiency as well as the best value, lowest cost. And we found there was a lot of redundancy and waste with how the procedure was being set up before the surgeon or the patient even reached the operating room. So we set up a pack which had best efficiency, and we performed a pilot study at Providence, Portland. And you can see in 2018, the cost of the supplies for a single case was $482. And when you go to 2020, it decreases to $389 as we sort of continue to remove a lot of the excess from the pack, refine the pack a lot more. It's almost $100 per case that we're able to decrease costs. Next slide. As we look across the region and we project these cost savings, it turns out to become considerable. And so you can see with one case, simply refining the pack and the content, if we standardize across the region, we project to save $309,000. This is based on 2019 data because, as we all know, 2020 was not exactly a representative year, pretty much at any hospital anywhere. So when we look at this, we think that there's a lot that we can learn and gain, in addition to better efficiency and better use of our resources to provide better patient care. When we looked at the nurses and the techs and the doctors, the surgeons really noted very little difference. The nurses and the techs in the operating room commented repeatedly on how easy it was and how much simpler it made the day. And they felt like it was going a lot better. And so I think our hope is to continue to refine the pack and hopefully find a good process where we can really get our resources out to more people more efficiently with not just this case, but maybe other cases throughout the region. Thanks.
And we have an awesome video too that Dr. Gaumond did as well on the Chole custom pack with the help of Lauren Oligschlager from St. Vincent. who actually demonstrates the contents of the pack. So if you'd like to see more detail about the lap Chole custom pack, you can watch it on YouTube. And like I said, we'll be sharing this slide deck with everybody.